Sup y'all, my name is Persuadeo. I'm here to tell you that I got a new project coming out called Potluck. Most of the songs on this project are collaborations with artists and friends I've met over the years. I just want to take some time to talk about each of these songs and maybe have some of these artists talk about their experience making these songs. So check it out.
Right. How about some introductions? I'm Danny, Daniel, Danny Dragon, Danny G, whatever you call me. That's me. Yeah, hi. I am a musician in the band Full Moon Freaks, which is how I met Ian. I am a producer and half of Dubldragon hip-hop. And I am an audio engineer who has worked in the East Bay and here in San Francisco more recently. I have been working with Ian for quite a few years now on music. I'm just honored to constantly be a part of this process.
The first song I completed off this project is called Hush featuring Marjorie Pio. It's not as much of a collaboration as it is a sample of Marjorie's song Never Be. Marjorie is the best friend of my wife, Isabel Mac, and I came across her CD in Isabel's house one day, and upon listening to it, the first song off the CD immediately sounded like a super dope sample, and I really just kind of messed with it.
Hey everyone, my name is Marjorie. I made a song back when I was 15. I wrote the song called Never Be. It was actually for a project that I had for school. This song is meaningful to me because it's the first song I really wrote and helped someone produce, and it came to life. It was something fun that I did. The meaning of it basically is just a sad song. A teenager who's in their feelings, about not feeling good enough and love being something more than sadness. It was definitely a very, very emotional song, and at the end of it, I felt good just laying it all out, just expressing my feelings at that time. And Ian, aka Persuadeo, said that he wanted to sample the song, and this is more than 10 years later, and I recorded the song when I was 16, 17, so it's been quite a while. So I'm glad he was able to bring this song out of its own shell of being just a sad song into something more meaningful. He took bits and pieces of the song that was completely opposite of the meaning he was doing with it, and it became Hush. And so he took the very loving and very soft words of those songs, and with his more intense words, it definitely helped balance it out, and I thought it was great, and I'm glad he used it, and I'm glad I'm a part of it.
And wasn't sure if I was going to make a song out of it, and I eventually threw some lyrics onto it from a song I wrote a year before. But every time I had used those lyrics, the beat I would make made it sound extra angry and more pessimistic, and I wanted it to be a little bit more heartfelt, even though I'm kind of ranting. And the vibe and lyrics coming from Marjorie's song and the sample just totally gave it so much more compassion, and that was the first song I made that went towards this project. The song When featuring Joni Marie is very similar to the song Hush featuring Marjorie Pio, and in the case that it's not exactly a collaboration, but the feature's more or less, it's a sample. And right after making the song Hush, sampling Marjorie's song, I was just kind of in that sampling mode. So I sampled the song When by Joni Marie. I'm a friend of mine since middle school, and her song is essentially about, to me it sounded like, heartbreak and when to start again, when to pick yourself back up. And to me, I just took it a little bit more broad, and just kind of, when you're asking yourself, when's the time to get back up when you've been knocked down? And I'm just answering the question, saying the time is now.
I don't know if he likes Kanye West, but I got super Kanye West style vibes on this. Super cool use of flipping the sample with the key change, and those are probably my two favorite tracks on the entire project.
The first and actual true collaboration for this project is Ain't Feelin' and featuring OneWerd. Shortly after we did a show together at the Gilman in January 2020, I worked up the courage to ask him to do a song together because I'd been meaning to collaborate with him for a while, but I just never had the right beat to bring to him. So around this time I had this beat that was a little melodic and had a little bit of a rock and electronic feel to it, and I thought it would totally sound like a OneWerd collab. I sent it to him, and for about 2 months we just kind of let it sit. And neither of us came to each other with lyrics at the time until eventually he came to me with a verse that was a little more aggressive. So we ended up scrapping that beat, and I ended up just sending him 7 beats that I had and said, hey, pick and choose whichever one you want to use. And the beat he chose was actually kind of perfect because I used it in a promo video for that show at the Gilman we did a couple months prior, and we essentially made a song that's just kind of us flexing our lyricism.
It's good. This is OneWerd. Persuadeo asked me to say a little bit about our track Ain't Feelin' 'Em, and he had hit me up about contributing a verse to that song, and I had one written that was basically on kind of like some battle, like attacking these weak rappers with their watered down content, and just shredding and eating these teeny boppers for breakfast. So it's kind of in that lane a little bit, and he built up a song around that, and that's what it is, and it's a pretty dope track. You should definitely check it out. So respect to Persuadeo. Peace.
Ian, with the incredible beats that are extremely diverse on this project that only continue to happen, very Bay Area, which is very interesting. Classic OneWerd, raps greatest Swedish chef on this one. It's so good. And again, the title says it all. I ain't feeling them. You're not into people basically like cookie cutter rappers. I think it's a diss towards like lame rappers pretty much.
The next song I want to talk about is Heartbeat featuring Dan Gensel. I made the beat probably my first day while being sheltered in place, not knowing what to do with myself, not being able to go to work. And I wasn't sure what I wanted the topic to be, but I knew I wanted to do a collab with Dan at the time. And I was kind of working out how I felt about this current situation. It was so new to everybody. And essentially I didn't want to make a song about it at the beginning. But after seeing how everyone who was kind of, separated at this time, all these artists who couldn't do shows, after seeing them take to the internet, and social media, and just doing live stream shows and releasing music and just really providing and instilling inspiration to everyone during this really confusing and difficult time really inspired me, and that's really what Heartbeat is about.
Yeah, so months ago, that huge thing happened where like the majority of the world just goes into lockdown and everybody's like, oh God, we gotta stay inside, what are we gonna do? Well, everybody, smart people, we stayed inside and we did what we could do while inside. Ian Persuadeo started sending me some tracks, and he sent me the part. He was like, I want you to sing it, here are the words. I kind of reshaped the words a little bit, and we went off back and forth, and I was really inspired by Trent Reznor for no good goddamn reason at all. I mean, I love Nine Inch Nails, sure, but like that time of my life, I was just like, Trent Reznor would work here. I'm doing it, and I just went for it. And it happened, and it worked, and I'm happy with it. Again, I'm super self-conscious of my voice, and I'm not really confident with anything that I do with my voice, but again, he was like, yeah, you should do it, and I did. So thank you again for pushing me 3 times and letting me be part of your music in more ways than one.
Another song I want to talk about is My Role featuring Voltaire Slapadelic. I had met Voltaire very briefly at one of the most recent Gilman shows, introduced by Daniel. But a couple months later, early June, shortly after George Floyd's murder, I was kind of going through some old lyrics, and I came across a verse I had written about 3 years prior. And unfortunately, what I was saying and what I felt writing that song was still very relevant to today. And I just wanted to put that song out even more. And I felt Voltaire would be the perfect person to kind of like add that little bit more of opinion to it. And he essentially recorded it between protests, and it came out super dope. And we're talking about things that as white artists in hip-hop may feel a little too uncomfortable to talk about, but we're speaking out against white supremacy and white privilege.
How you doing? This is Voltaire Slapadelic. This isn't a scripted video or anything like that. I'm on Persuadeo's song called My Role, which I think is a very it's a nice song. It's a good beat. I was happy to be on it. I think it's an important message about how white privilege is very real, and systemic racism, things like that. They've existed since before they're older than the country itself. And every week to this day you're hearing about new cases, Breonna Taylor, Jacob Blake. It's constant. It hasn't gotten any better. No one's really doing anything about it. When people push back, then they're the ones that are villainized as riots or what have you. I think the Black Lives Matter is a very important movement, and this is just showing that it's really important to show support as white people, to use our white privilege to push back against institutional racism, and to that's why the song's called My Role. I in my verse I just talk about how the history of the police themselves is racist inherently, and you can't separate that. And so it's important to talk about that, and it's important to talk about that in songs, and it's important to, if you're going to be in hip hop as a white person, to know the history and acknowledge the social political aspect of it, and not just to be here because you think it's cool or whatever. So thank you, Persuadeo, put me on this song, and I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the project.
Current events and civil rights issues, featuring Voltaire, who is one of my good friends as well. We've done lots of music together. We have 2 split EPs, one with me and then one with Dubldragon, and I mix a lot of his music and semi-produce on the back end of it all. So much fun, love him. Oh, and we play video games too. And they have this insane track, and both of them just go off on this one. I was not ready for this collab. I didn't know. Ian was like, I'm really feeling the subject right now. You think I could collab with Voltaire? And I'm like, yeah, probably. Just hit him up. So they did it, and the thing is great, and it's very political and a lot of good points. Highly suggest you listen to that one. And great music, as always.
The first song on the project is called Who Am I? It's actually the one song that is not only a sample, but it's also a feature of who it's sampling. So over the months I've been meaning to do a song with Dubldragon, but I just couldn't find a beat or a topic that I felt fit both of our styles. And I probably sent them at least 4 or 5 songs, and even took a lot of them back, probably before they even heard them. And this song really was lightweight, made by accident, or I just kind of had an idea for a beat where I wanted to sample a bar off of one of their songs, and I just kind of took the first bar off of Dubldragon's song Morrison's Run, and I looped it for the chorus, and just that one bar, which is just Skeptik asking a question, became the whole topic of the song. And Skeptik, I later asked, while asking for their blessing to use their sample, I asked if he would like to be on the song and add a verse, and he was totally down and sent me a verse within a week, which I felt fit perfectly.
Hey, what's up everybody? This is Skeptik from Dubldragon. Persuadeo asked me to say a few words about the track he has me on his Potluck project. It's called Who Am I? And he hit me up a good couple months ago and said, hey, I took a bar from your track Morrison's Run and looped it and turned it into a hook. And of course I was like, damn, that's awesome. Like, what an honor for me to hear that beat. And I told him I thought it was dope, and he had my blessing to use it going forward. And I kind of secretly hoped that he would ask me to spit a verse on it, just because I really liked, him springboarding off the idea of just that bar, which is, am I truly myself, or a collection of lines, which in Morrison's Run, it's a song about a comic book character, Animal Man, realizing that he is a comic book character and all the implications of that in his life and his, the pain that he goes through and whatnot. So it's really cool to see that idea expanded upon and made more personal by Persuadeo. And so when he sent it to me and I listened to his verses, I thought it sounded really cool, and he asked if I would be down to spit a verse. So I contributed one, of course, and I'm really happy with how it came out, and I did my best to dig a little deep and hit a little personal and try and get on the same vibe that Persuadeo was on, and I think it came out really, really well. It's gonna be a really dope project. Danny G actually ended up, in his words, double dragonizing it by adding his own little touch into the mix and adding his own piece of production to the beat, and I think it came out really great. Potluck by Persuadeo. Look for it, listen for it.
Who Am I, featuring Dubldragon, and this is cool because he actually remixes one of our songs, Morrison's Run, and he just took a little line. Lucky bastard. The one line that we have in our music with no drums or instruments around it, and you took it. When everybody else has done that. It's like the only part that isn't, I don't know, drowning in soundscapes, because I'm just guilty of that. And so he flipped that, turned that into a beat, and then he was like, that's not enough. I need you guys to be on the track. Cool track, cool instruments. He brought us on, Skep did his thing, and he had asked me to remix the third verse, which is Chad's verse. So I ended up remixing it. I took out all of his instruments and I put in my own break beats and my own synthesizers. After I sent Chad the track, he goes, "Yo, has Persuadeo heard this track?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he was like, "Bro, why don't we have any songs where we just have like a crazy drum break happen?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm only one producer. I do my thing and then that's it." But stay tuned. We actually have some crazy stuff.
Another song is Needed You More, featuring my wife, Isabel Mac. This song is about and dedicated to my adopted siblings and what I've learned from them over the years. I'm just telling the tale of how I met them and how I've grown as a person with having them in my life. I used a little bit of a melody from a very previous song I had written years before, which was also about my siblings. And Isabel was also on that song, so it felt only right to have her on this song, and she just brought so much more emotion through her singing to the song that I could by just rapping, and I'm really proud of how it came out.
Hi, I'm Isabel Mac, aka Mrs. Thompson, because I married Persuadeo. I'm the person who sang in the chorus of Needed You More. I'm actually really honored to be a part of this song because Ian wrote this song about his siblings, and they're my siblings now too, and I love them. And he put his heart and soul in this song, and Ian asked me to write the chorus for the song, and I feel like it just came naturally, not only because I saw the love that Ian has for his siblings, but I think also in a way they changed my life as well. And I hope a lot of you feel connected to this song. I mean, maybe you don't have adopted siblings, but maybe you met someone or have someone in your life that you can't live without, or you can't imagine going on without. You probably feel like you'd be a different person without them. That's kind of the message of the song, and I'm really glad to be a part of it, and I hope you guys like it.
Another song is Elaborate, featuring EvoluSHAWN. Sean is my new brother-in-law, Isabel's younger brother, and our song together is essentially just from a male's perspective in a relationship, and kind of just us trying to prove to our significant others that we're the guy for this job.
So a few months ago, I hit up the big bro Persuadeo, and I was like, yo, we need to collab ASAP. I got some things on my mind I need to air out. And it was just things like how I wanted to jumpstart my future, but there were a lot of factors I couldn't control, and I was just getting frustrated about how I had to patiently wait for the future that I wanted. And he was telling me how we had to be careful when we make a track, especially if it's about someone you're currently in a relationship with. And I didn't understand him at first, so I asked, can you elaborate a little more? And that's the inspiration for this track now. I'm a little shy, but I'm also very excited for you guys to hear it, so enjoy.
and we actually recorded this song last out of all the songs on the project due to Sean living in San Diego and me and Isabel living here up in the Bay. And luckily he was able to fly into town for Isabel and my wedding in July, and we were able to record the song literally the evening before I got married. And it was a super dope experience just kind of having him here recording the song when we only had maybe a day or so to get it done before he had to go home. And it's a dope song. The last song on this project is called Don't We. It features Mr. Nonchalant, aka my best friend Thomas Maldonado, and other member of my hip-hop duo New Hope. We have probably made 80% of the music I've been in has had him in it as well, under A New Hope, and we haven't made a song probably in about 2 years. So it was really dope, getting together and making a song together for the first time in a while. And while making this project full of collabs, I felt it was only right to have him on it. So much so that I had him in the album artwork, I had him in the track list before he even wrote anything for the song. So I pretty much obligated him. I was like, man, you got to be on the song now. You're in the artwork. And it just came together cool. It was interesting recording, being that at shelter in place, we'd have to meet up. I'd be masked. I'd have him a little bit to a distance as recording his verses. But, we got it done, and I think it's a super dope song. The song is essentially just, telling the tale of our friendship. And I thought after all the heavy stuff in the album, it was a really cool outro to the album, just kind of having a heartfelt slapper.
Hey everybody, this is Mr. Nonchalant from A New Hope, talking about a new song called Don't We that I recorded with Persuadeo for his upcoming album. I've recorded this like 10 times already because I don't know what to say and I keep messing up, so I'm just gonna, just talk. The song's about our friendship and it's just how it's evolved over the time, and I couldn't be more proud, to be part of this new album with him, because obviously we haven't been working on New Hope stuff recently, and that's mostly my fault because I'm not writing as much. But yeah, man, Persuadeo keeps just knocking out tracks left and right, and he's getting all these people to collab with him, and it's gonna be amazing. You guys gotta hear these songs. But this song in particular, Don't We, is just about us, me and him, and all the stuff we've gone through and how we supported each other throughout the days and years, really. So proud of you, man. So proud of you for all the songs that you've been working on, and all the people that you met, and everyone that you got on this album, because it's going to be tight, and I've already heard a lot of it, and man, it's crazy. So yeah, the song's called Don't We, and it's just about brothers, me and him, growing up together and making music, supporting each other left and right, and can't wait for you guys to hear it. Alright, peace.
And he ends the album with Don't We, featuring Mr. Nonchalant, who I know is his BFF, and they got burritos and sat in the car next to each other. I'm just realizing now the back of the album cover is La Piñata. That's amazing.
The song Sun Will Rise is one of the ones I'm really proud of. It has two different features, one my wife Isabel Mac and the other one Dan Gensel, and it really came about similar to Heartbeat and similar to my role. It was just kind of me just thinking about, the world we live in right now, and, struggling with positivity, while at the same time my mission statement as a music artist is to promote positivity, and just kind of addressing that. And I wrote a chorus that I tried to sing, but I'm not a very good singer, so I eventually asked Isabel for her to do the chorus, and it came out super dope.
Sun Will Rise is another song that I'm proud to be a part of. I actually did not write this song or the chorus. Ian's the one that wrote it, and he needed help with vocals for the melody, and I was proud to help out. It's actually just been that way ever since we met in high school and started making music together. He would write a song, I would write a chorus or sing the chorus that he wrote. But I feel like it's not like every other song that we've had together, because this is a very unique time that we're in right now, and I think Ian had a lot of time to reflect and think about how a lot of us are probably feeling hopeless right now, and he wanted to make something uplifting. And I'm really proud that he wrote a song like this, because that's how I felt. I felt really hopeless sometimes, even me being a teacher and not being able to see my students. And I think a lot of people, either essential workers that are out there or even people that have to stay at home, a lot of people feel kind of down, especially with everything that's been going on in the news, like, you know, the racial divides and coronavirus, just everything, and the upcoming election. Like, it's just a lot to take in, and people are exhausted. And for Ian to write this song is really important in this time, and I think it's perfect too.
Sun Will Rise, featuring me and his wife, Isabel, yes. Beautiful voice she's singing on this track. It's basically looking to the brighter side of things, and just to remember that things are going to be okay. You just got to stick with what we're doing now, and it'll all get better, and the sun will rise. So I have a verse on this one, and again, he sort of gave me free reign to do whatever, so I play guitar, and I rap, and I sing, and I redo my version of the hook.
And then I later sent it to Daniel and said, hey man, would you mind doing an outro? And he sent back a rap that was super melodic at the same time, and messed with the production, added guitar, and he just took it to a whole nother world and rounded it back, and he sang his version of the chorus at the end, and I just totally love how it came out. So with all that said and done, my new project Potluck will be available soon on all major streaming platforms. I'm very proud of every song, and I'm very thankful for everyone who's been a part of it. I hope you could check it out. Peace!
We did it. The album. It's done. The album's done.